A $5,000 check stolen and then altered. WRAL investigates what's behind the increase in this crime and how to protect yourself.
The big heat is building back. I'm tracking rising temperatures and humidity that could get close to record highs and trigger heat advisories, what you can expect.
A theater once riddled with controversy at the heart of a new entertainment district and amphitheater in Roanoke Rapids. Coming up, we bring you an exclusive tour on the property.
Thanks for being here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe. Let's start with what's going on with our mail in our area. People are stealing other people's mail, and in one case, stealing it right out of one of those big blue public mailboxes. We're talking about thousands of dollars in checks being stolen. It's happened in Chapel Hill and in Raleigh. WRAL investigates. Sarah Kruger went to find out how this is happening and why police have trouble stopping it.
This blue mailbox right outside of a post office. This is where a woman says she mailed a check for more than $5,000 and then it fell into the wrong hands.
Because they are public records, I have access to Chapel Hill Town Council's emails. It was there I found an email that caught my attention. A woman wrote to them explaining, "My check was taken and a fake check was made and an attempt to do a mobile deposit for $5,500 was made." She said thankfully her bank flagged that and did not release the funds. She was on edge already, saying the same thing happened to her previously, and she did lose more than $15,000, which took 6 months to get back.
It does have a big impact on victims.
Chapel Hill Police Chief Salisa Lehue says it's a crime they're seeing more of. WRAL reported just last week on a similar situation in Raleigh.
So many of these checks we see cashed in other states, Texas, Pennsylvania.
Chapel Hill Police told me they've had 20 reports of mail theft so far this year, up from 5, 8, 2, and 4 in years prior.
Do you have any guesses as to why there's an uptick?
Yeah, I think we saw a real uptick around tax season time and checks that were going to pay for taxes.
Police say it can be hard to determine in what part of a check's journey it is stolen, making these crimes hard to solve. The chief offers this advice to protect yourself.
Using blue or red ink, or perhaps a security a pen made for not being able to scrub a check. Writing for deposit only on the check, really thinking about register to priority mail so that there's timestamps and signatures that are involved.
Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, Chapel Hill.
So we also reached out to the Postal Inspection Service. That's the law enforcement arm of the post office. We wanted to see if we could get numbers on mail thefts statewide this year. We're still waiting on that.
This is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center, and all new here at 7 o'clock. We're getting some details about a crash involving a 6-year-old that happened earlier today in Durham. Durham police say this happened downtown around Parrish and Mangum Street is where we heard it here in the WRAL Live Center around 1 o'clock this afternoon. They say that a driver hit a 6-year-old child. That child went to the hospital, but they are expected to survive their injuries. No word this evening on any charges.
I'm glad they're expected to survive. Thanks, Brian. It's been a pretty busy day in the news, so let's get you caught up. Here are 5 things you should know right now. Former Governor Roy Cooper has his sights on Washington. Sources tell our NC Capitol team that Cooper has decided he will run for U.S. Senate and is expected to make that announcement in the coming days. Cooper will join former Congressman Wiley Nickel in the Democratic primary. The GOP doesn't have a clear front runner yet, though high-profile Republicans are expected to enter the race. Surveillance video captures the moment a car slammed into a Fayetteville church. Look at this video. This happened early yesterday morning at Berrien Baptist Church on Glensford Drive. Police tell us the car was stolen. 2 people inside ran from the scene. Officers did catch up to one of them. 18-year-old Demir Denning faces multiple charges. Investigators are still looking for the second suspect. The church says it will cost $8,000 to replace the damaged doors. The UNC Board of Governors wants its universities to prove that they have dismantled DEI. The board repealed DEI policies last year, replacing them with an equality policy. Individual institutions now have to form subcommittees to take a closer look and make sure the equality policy is being implemented. The Nash County Animal Shelter is closed to the public. The shelter faces a $9,000 fine after failing a surprise inspection yesterday. Among the violations, no vet was on site, and inspectors found a dead kitten. This is the second inspection in less than a month. Those violations led to firing the shelter director. Today, the shelter said they're working to address the concerns. Kane Realty wants to rezone 4 properties in North Hills. They already had a plan for new high-rises, but they want them to rise even higher. Some buildings as high as 37 stories. Kane tried this in 2021, but later withdrew the request. The company did not have anyone available to comment today. All right, if you drive up I-95 approaching the Virginia border, you can't miss it. The Weldon Mills Theater, formerly the Roanoke Rapids Theater, and before that, the Randy Parton Theater. More on this place's past in a moment. It's wild. But right now, let's focus on the future. An entertainment district, an amphitheater, shopping, and restaurants. Leonard Skinner is coming next month. Only on WRAL, Heidi Kirk takes us to Roanoke Rapids, to the once doomed district, making a comeback.
Once upon a time, this was the dream for this area. Development on 350 acres for an entertainment district. And at the heart of it, this amphitheater. And that's finally a dream that's becoming reality.
They're working hard to get it done, boy.
They're calling it the Carolina Crossroads Amphitheater, right off I-95 behind the Weldon Mills Theater.
But everybody's been pulling together, working as hard as they can to get this going.
Bruce Tyler is one of the masterminds behind this. He's part of the team at Carolina Capital Group, transforming a once failed vision into a reality. At its heart, the theater.
The community has invested so much into this theater and has not had a big return out of it.
Now that return is hopefully on the way. The theater is already bringing in big acts, and now the amphitheater has a lineup with even more. The long-term plan includes a water park, a distillery, and even more on this property.
So it's designed to have entertainment for everyone, different kinds of entertainment. It's designed to be a destination.
That was always the plan, and why the city invested millions here once upon a time, entrusting its success in Randy Parton, Dolly Parton's brother, who was eventually ousted, and the theater sat empty for years. It's high pressure for the team here and now.
The reason why this theater is so special to us is we owe it to the community to turn this into a thriving, successful operation. That way, they can be repaid for all of the investment that they made into this theater.
Sitting high on a hill, a reminder of what was and what's to come. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, Roanoke Rapids.
The theater's first event is on August 15th. But let's take a step back. Remember, this place has a wild past. It involves a federal investigation, gambling, a revolving door of ownership, and the late Randy Parton. To better understand this new chapter for the theater, let's answer the question, how do we get here?
The theater first opened in 2005. Roanoke Rapids borrowed $21 million to make it happen. It was called the Randy Parton Theater, named for Dolly Parton's little brother.
Here I am. I have a job at the Randy Parton Theater, and I'm so excited.
He helped jumpstart the project and perform there, too. The city paid him $1 million a year, plus a car and a house. But things went sour just 2 years later. In 2007, the city banned Randy Parton from the theater. They claimed he showed up drunk for his performances, an accusation that he denied.
Well, I guess we just got thrown out of the place. What do you think? I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I have honored all my agreements.
At one point, federal investigators got involved. In the end, the city bought out Parton's contract and changed the name to Roanoke Rapids Theater.
I love this city, and I'm going to do everything I can to support this theater.
Business wasn't great. For years, there was a revolving door of new management from Nashville, Chicago, Myrtle Beach, and more. In 2012, a company from Arkansas took over. They changed the name to the Royal Palace Theater and tried to put internet sweepstakes games into the building.
I never anticipate the games will be more important than the shows. We're here to operate a theater.
That didn't work either. More years went by, more management changes, and more unpaid debt. It got so bad, the city asked for a $7.5 million bailout from the state. They didn't get it. The theater sat empty for 10 years. Then, in 2023, the theater sold to a company just 10 minutes down the road, Weldon Mills Distillery. A new name, the Weldon Mills Theater, and a new start. Lynyrd Skynyrd takes the stage this fall. And that's how we got here.
Quite the history. Tonight is part 2 of my conversation with White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. I ask her about funding cuts to medical research and the trillions of dollars set to hit the national debt. That part of the conversation after the break. Kat?
I hope you enjoyed today's weather. I certainly did out here on the WRAL weather patio. We've got high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere that's going to be sitting right over top of us. I'll explain what this does to temperatures and rain chances coming up.
We know you have questions about how lawmakers spend your tax dollars. And this week, we got to bring those questions to the White House, specifically to White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. We talked for about 10 minutes, so we've split the interview into 2 parts. The full conversation is on the WRAL YouTube page. Go check it out, please. I encourage you. But here is part 2. We talked about cuts to medical research grants and the national debt. Let's talk about President Trump's efforts to cut NIH research grants. You know, Raleigh was just named #1 in the country for business, also #1 in the country for college graduates. And it has a lot to do with the research-focused industry in our area. You probably know there's something called the Research Triangle Park. I mean, it's literally in the name, Research Triangle Park here in Raleigh-Durham. So this industry really depends on those grants. Why cut them?
Well, I don't think perhaps you understood that what the research industry was doing was actually spending about 80% of the money they were receiving on research grants on administrative costs, and only 20% of that money was actually going towards the real research and the science. So the Trump administration has actually redesignated the formula for research grants coming from the National Institute of Health to ensure that entities that are receiving this money from the federal government are actually putting it towards science and research and finding solutions and answers for the American people, not towards administrative costs or to pay off people who are becoming very wealthy at the taxpayer's expense. We want that money going towards actual findings, research, and development. And so there weren't cuts. There was just a redistribution of where that money is going. So that's in the best interest of taxpayers who are funding these grants.
Let me give you an example. We recently reported on a doctor. Her name is Charity Oyedeji. She lost $750,000 in NIH funding for sickle cell research. What do you say to her and to others like her? I mean, she would argue that what she is doing is very much based in science and not just trying to make herself wealthy.
Again, I'm unfamiliar with that doctor or her case. I would have to look into it before commenting on it. But what I can tell you is this administration, of course, backs science and research and development. We want the United States to lead in innovation when it comes to science and research. But we also want the research industry, if you will, to be good stewards of the American taxpayer dollar.
Let's leave on this as we wrap this up. Let's bring it back to the spending bill. I am getting quite a lot of emails and calls from viewers who are concerned about the growing deficit with the spending bill. What do you say to them?
What I'll tell you is that this was the most fiscally conservative big piece of legislation that has moved through Capitol Hill ever. And the president is focused on tackling our nation's crippling debt. That is the problem of politicians of the past by bringing in massive revenue through his effective use of tariffs, while also cutting taxes, putting more money back into the people's pockets. And he is working with Congress to find other ways to hopefully one day get to a truly balanced budget. We just sent a rescissions package to Capitol Hill. That means clawing back some of the wasteful spending of the previous administration. And in addition to that, again, the president is focused on bringing in massive revenue in our country through the form of tariffs, which will result in billions and billions of dollars to help pay down our debt. The president ultimately is a businessman. He understands he wants to run this country like a business, unlike so many politicians and presidents from both sides of the aisle in the past. And he is focused on getting America's fiscal house in order while also cutting taxes, getting rid of regulation, and allowing the American people and businesses to boom.
Karoline Leavitt, thank you.
Thank
you. Just as we did yesterday, I want to add a bit of context to some of the things that Leavitt brought up in this portion of our interview. She mentioned the plan for NIH wasn't cuts, but a redistribution of funds. Yes and no. The new budget plan realigns functions and streamlines research portfolios. It consolidates 19 institutes and centers into just 8. But there are definitely cuts. The proposed plan is $27 billion. The 2024 budget was $48 billion. And about that, 6% of that was specifically for administrative costs, not 80%, as Levitt mentioned. When we talked about the deficit, Levitt said our nation's debt was the fault of previous politicians. The last time the U.S. had a budget surplus was in 2001. Today, we are $36 trillion in debt. Levitt said that the president wants to pay that down, but we should mention the Congressional Budget Office estimates the president's spending plan will add $3 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. And Levitt said tariffs can supplement this. According to the Tax Foundation, the president's current and scheduled tariffs would raise about $171 billion this year. If that continues, that's about $1.5 trillion over 10 years. It's a lot, but not quite enough to make up the difference. That was part 2 of my conversation with Caroline Levitt. Part 1 aired last night. You can find the full interview on the WRAL YouTube page. Kat?
Let's take it outside tonight to the WRAL weather patio. It's been a while since I have been out here. Your morning fitness forecast, not as good as it was today, but not bad by any means tomorrow morning. We're going to be around the low 70s by 9 a.m. We'll be back in the upper 70s. The humidity's climbing tomorrow. So are temperatures. So hopefully you made the most of today. It was nice in the shade. We had some stirring of the air. Finally, it wasn't just hot, stagnant air. There was a little bit of a breeze. Dew points were in the mid-60s. They're going to be climbing tonight. We're still in the steamy category of the muggy meter. We did drop at times today into the tolerable category, though, so it felt better out there. Dew points are back in the 70s, though, starting tomorrow, and they will likely stay there through next week. We've got a prolonged stretch of hot, humid weather on the way and really dangerous heat on the horizon for the weekend. We're going with 99 for the forecast high both Saturday and Sunday. 101 is the record high on Saturday. 104 is the record high on Sunday. Sunday's record set all the way back in 1940. I do want to let you know about some rain chances tomorrow. Notice where the front is. It's just south of our area at the moment. We're going to be watching for some storms to spread inland as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. This would mainly impact our southeastern counties, and I really don't think that this activity would reach the Triangle, but heads up in Fayetteville. You've got about a 40% chance of rain tomorrow as opposed to the 20% chance of rain in Raleigh, about a 30% chance of a storm in Goldsboro tomorrow, and those fade during the evening. The flooding risk, a low threat in our southeastern counties that have that potential for a few showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. A quick update on the tropics as well, a lot to talk about. This looks a lot like the last area we were watching for potential tropical development, crossing over Florida into the Gulf. Still only a 10% chance of this developing for right now. The bottom line here is, regardless of development, it's going to bring some rain to Florida for the next couple of days. And then as we head into the weekend, it's likely to bring some rain along the Gulf Coast once again. We'll keep an eye on it. At this point, I wouldn't worry about it here in North Carolina. We will let you know if that changes. For the next 7 days, big heat is on the way. We'll be back in the 90s tomorrow, 99 Saturday, Sunday, upper 90s next week, probably all the way through Friday. This is going to be a whole week of high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, but I think we are going to have to up some days into the triple digits. Still working out those details, but I expect that we'll see some triple digits on our 7-day forecast starting tomorrow.
Oh, folks just need to be near the water or in some AC or, I don't know, at one of the stores that are now selling like Halloween stuff and Christmas stuff already, Kat.
That's what I did this past weekend. You got to beat the heat somehow. It was giving me a little hope.
There you go, dreaming of days ahead. Thanks, Kat. Hey, one last thing. 50 years of good food and good vibes comes to a close. Mama Dips has closed permanently. After the break, we remember a Chapel Hill legend. One last thing for you tonight. Maybe you've heard Mama Dips in Chapel Hill is closed permanently. The restaurant was put for sale in 2023. The dining room closed last year. They've been doing pop-ups and takeout orders for the last few months, but you know, its history is so rich. Mama Dips was founded in 1976 and operated out of the building on Rosemary Street since 1999. Mildred Council, a.k.a. Mama Dip, held down the fort for decades. She served Michael Jordan, Dean Smith, Venus Williams, President George W. Bush. Over the years, Mama Dips made countless best-of lists. The recipes were sold in cookbooks on QVC. Back in 2014, our Tar Heel traveler met Mama Dip. We want to share a brief clip from that story.
This is Mama Dip's kitchen in Chapel Hill, and Mama Dip is in the kitchen. Do you still enjoy it?
Me? I don't know nothing there.
Mama Dip. She started cooking when she was a kid growing up in Chatham County.
My papa learned us how to cook.
Papa taught her how to pick, too.
And he told me to go pick something to eat. He didn't say cook a steak.
Mildred learned to scrape out a living the hard way.
Turn the houses, sorority houses.
She cooked wherever she could, and then in 1976 opened her own little place.
Somebody opened the door and said, "Is you open?" And I said, "Yeah, come on in."
Is her laugh not the best? Mama Dip died in 2018. She was 89 years old. And even though her restaurant is closing, there is hope for the future. The restaurant's Facebook post says the brand will stay alive, and we are working to see what is next for us, and we cannot wait to share it with y'all. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.